Title: The Ruler of This World, Beneath the Dust, Behind the Throne. Have you ever wondered why the world, for all its beauty, feels out of joint? Wars rage, children cry, power corrupts. Not just once, but again and again. Is it just human nature, or is there something darker? A whisper beneath the headlines, a presence behind the curtain. From Eden to now, has someone or something been quietly pulling the strings? What if the ruler of this world isn't the one sitting on any throne? What if real power hides beneath robes of righteousness, behind altars and algorithms, inside the comfort of your daily routine? What if the ancient serpent is still whispering today? Not in foreign lands, but in boardrooms and croll feeds. Not with poison, but with promise. And the question that haunts: are we willing to look beneath the dust and confront the throne behind the throne? Introduction. Shalom Aleichem. I'm ordinary people. A quiet companion, not here to preach or to lead, just to walk beside you through questions too big for slogans. And if today is heavy, I'm just here quite beside you. The Bible can feel distant, ancient, mythic, but to those who first heard it, it was as real as bread. Its symbols, its stories, they weren't puzzles. They were maps through mystery and meaning. We'll look not with modern eyes, but ancient ones. Not to argue beliefs, but to explore a story. A story whispered on parchment, cried in the wilderness, and etched in the dust beneath our feet. So come, let's trace an old path through gardens and deserts, through whispers and wars, to discover who truly reigns when no one seems in control. Main content. The garden was a mountain to modern eyes. Eden is a children's tale. But to the ancients, it was architecture. A cosmic temple. A thin place. In the ancient Near East, gardens atop mountains weren't fiction. They were sacred geography. Heaven and earth met in altitude and beauty. Ezekiel 28 calls Eden a mountain, a sanctuary. God didn't stroll through a flatland orchard. He descended into a throne room. A holy space guarded by cherubim, where waters flowed and life began. And the serpent? More than a reptile. A symbol of cunning. In the ancient mind, he was a divine rebel. He is a throne seeker. He wasn't there by mistake. He was permitted. He was already fallen, and he spoke. Not just to tempt, but to twist. To offer autonomy, disguised as awakening. And so begins the ancient war. Not of swords, but of sovereignty. Dust, power, and the lie. You will crawl on your belly. God says, not biology humiliation. Not anatomy judgment. Dust isn't dirt. It's defeat. In Hebrew, dust is aphar, the stuff of creation and curse. The serpent doesn't die. He's sentenced to be beneath, a king of ashes, a master of ruin. Later, Jesus calls him the ruler of this world. Not a crowned tyrant, but an invisible influencer. A whisperer in halls of power. He doesn't need worship, just consent. Not in robes of majesty, but in systems of control. Not on thrones, but in transactions, in ideologies. This is the terrifying paradox. The defeated one rules, not by right, but by deceit. Ancient scrolls, forgotten lenses. 1947, Qumran, caves cut into desert cliffs. Hidden scrolls whisper across time. Dead Sea Scrolls, a forgotten library, a preserved memory. Inside, fragments of Genesis, Isaiah, Enoch, worlds within worlds, and suddenly the biblical world expands. These texts speak of watchers, of divine councils, of battles in the heavenlies. The serpent wasn't alone. He had allies, principalities, powers. The ancients saw reality as layered, physical below, spiritual above, but intertwined. To them, every throne had a shadow. Every king, puppet. They weren't obsessed with rules. They were enthralled by patterns, cosmic cycles, sacred battles. A drama in which they played a part. Have we forgotten that drama? The temples of today. Temples still stand, some with gold, some with code. The ancient serpent adapts. He's multilingual. He speaks theology and technology. When Jesus walked the temple courts, he didn't rage at sinners, he exposed structures. Your father is the devil, he told the elite. Not for breaking rules, but for upholding empty ones. The system had become its own god. The devil doesn't build altars. He institutionalizes them. Religious power, political power, economic power. These are today's temples. And still, he whispers, bow to me, and I'll give you the kingdoms. The slow seduction. An evil doesn't always wear horns. Sometimes it wears habits. It doesn't always kill. It distracts. The seduction is slow. Pride looks like drive. Lust like liberation. Fear like pragmatism. Evil rebrands itself. It becomes a vibe, a lifestyle, a necessity. The serpent doesn't need to shout. He just needs us to forget who we are, to forget whose breath we carry. He uses despair as anesthetic, and boredom as a leash, the greatest trick, convincing you he's not real. You are made of dust, he feeds on dust, but you were shaped from it. Same substance, different destiny. To God, dust isn't garbage, it's potential. It's the beginning. Genesis says, God breathed into dust and life began. In Hebrew, ruach, breath, spirit, wind, the same breath that hovered over chaos, lives in you. You were never meant to crawl. You were meant to rise. Even Jesus knelt in the dust. He spat on it, made mud, and healed blindness. The dust is not defeat. It's where resurrection begins. But what if the greatest deception wasn't that the serpent rules, but that you can do nothing about it? What if you've mistaken comfort for peace and silence for victory? What if the throne isn't far away but inside every compromise? What if resistance begins not in protest, but in perception? You are not helpless, but you've been trained to believe you are. Trained by algorithms, by broken liturgies, by old fears disguised as modern wisdom. But there was one, a carpenter's son, who stood on dust, looked evil in the eye, and said, "It is finished." He didn't overthrow Rome. He overthrew the throne beneath Rome. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. The war is ancient. But so is the light. Call to action and quote. You were never alone in the dust. The light was always near, even in silence, even in despair. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. If this story spoke to you, share it. You could be the gentle touch someone needs tonight. Reclaim your dust. Not as shame, but as sacred ground. You were born in dust, but you were breathed into by God. Rise. The Lord is good, exceedingly good, and his mercy endureth forever. Doubt not the Lord thy God, for his ways are righteous and true. Comment "Rise" if you believe truth still wins. Turn on notifications, the next revelation drops soon. I'm Ordinary People. See you in the next episode.